Aristotle's theory of spontaneous generation of life. Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to explore about the origin of life from Aristotle's point of view. Aristotle was a polymath born in 384 BCE in ancient Greece who became the student of Plato at the age of 17 and later, in 338 BCE, began tutoring Alexander the Great. His intellectual range was extraordinarily vast, covering arts, botany, chemistry, ethics, logic, metaphysics, physics, biology, logic, politics, zoology, psychology, poetics, literature, and so on. He wrote a book titled On the Generation of Animals around 350 BCE, which is famous as the theory of spontaneous generation today. In this book, the theory suggests that organisms like flies, maggots, and rats emerge suddenly out of nowhere within the rotting meat or other decomposing organic materials. This means those organisms do not descend from other organisms or come out of their parents and come into existence solely due to the favorable conditions required for life to form. Aristotle stated that all non-living matters contained a vital heat called pneuma in Latin, called a breath of life. This breath of life or pneuma is later translated as anima, meaning soul. When this pneuma gets in touch with other four elements, i.e., air, water, earth, and fire, it creates life. He stated that plants, animals, and all living creatures came into existence by combining those elements with vital heat. According to his book, Earth has vital heat. He said the air has vital heat, and there is air in water. Now, water has vital heat from the air. Earth has the water, by which he concluded that the earth has vital heat, and thus, the earth has a tendency to create life. This phenomenon is called spontaneous generation. His explanation of the theory was, living things form quickly whenever this air and vital heat are enclosed in anything. When they are so enclosed, the corporeal liquids being heated, there arise as if they were a frothy bubble. Whether what is forming is to be more or less honorable depends on embracing the physical principle. This again depends on the medium in which the generation takes place and the material which is included. BD Editors, 2017. Believing the theory, a Roman poet named Virgil described a recipe in which one could make synthetic bees. People started creating a recipe for generating mice, scorpions, and other organisms such as flies and maggots. They saw the results in many cases and then believed in the theory that life can come from inanimate matters. Many of his thoughts and logic ruled over the world for more than 2,000 years. Even Sir Isaac Newton believed in his theory about time being constant everywhere. Einstein proved him wrong by publishing the article General Relativity in 1915, which showed that time is relative. For the first time in the mid-16th century, an Italian physician, and the scientist Francesco Redi suspected that the theory of spontaneous generation may be flawed. Thus, he conducted his simple experiment to see the result. He enclosed meat into two jars. One jar was covered with cloth, and the other was left open. After a few days, he opened both jars and saw maggots only in that jar which was not covered. He realized that maggots must have come from flies' eggs and could not spontaneously generate. If so, there had to be maggots in the covered jar too. After 200 years of Redi's experiment, a French scientist named Louis Pasteur destroyed the idea of spontaneous generation, and the world knew that the microbes from which life arises are present within the air. Though Aristotle was wrong about the origin of life, we cannot simply ditch or condemn all his works. He was a great thinker, at least, he came up with some thoughts about the origin of life, and his ideas were considered authentic for more than 2,000 years, and he motivated people to learn and be logical. His ideas and theories have also become a subject matter for research in modern times. As mentioned earlier, Leucippus and his student introduced the idea of atomism, also empty spaces, approximately 100 years before Aristotle's birth. The theory of atomism was one of the most relevant explanations for studying and understanding the origin of life and the universe back in time. Leucippus founded atomism, and his student Democritus fully developed the theory of atoms, said Aristotle. Aristotle believed that atomism offered a solution to the Parmenidean conclusion that everything is but one, identical to itself, Agostini et al., 2021. The theory suggests that two different effects result from the collision of atoms. First, they can shock against each other like snooker balls, and second, they can combine to form homogeneous matters like water, earth, fire, and air. The modern atomic theory also agrees with atomism to some extent. While working on his theory spontaneous generation of life, Aristotle was significantly influenced by atomism. We see a significant similarity in how Democritus and Aristotle viewed the origin of the life process. If we close our eyes and try to imagine how life begins on Earth with the limited source of knowledge and theory that is atomism for Aristotle, we would come up with a similar thought. If atoms tend to combine each other creating varieties of the compound, then why not life? When we logically dissect ourselves, breaking down the composition of our body, at the end of the day, we reach the atomic level. How come the combination of non-living matters such as carbon, hydrogen, methane, oxygen, etc., combine to form life? We are composed of cells, and cells are made up of organelles. At the fundamental level, organelles are made up of atoms. In simple, we living and non-living beings are made of atoms. Then what makes the difference between living and inanimate? Aristotle on spontaneous generation says the generated type of life depends on a different combination of vital heat with air, water, earth, and fire in different proportions. Technically speaking, he may be right in saying that when other elements are combined with different conditions and parameters, the observation and outcome can vary. But he is wrong about the theory of spontaneous generation of life. However, this is very perplexing to accept that life started from life, but not from the inanimate, because to begin as the progeny, there must be the mother. If there is a mother, who is her mother? So, we are talking about the very first life of the universe, how the life exists. Is it possible to create such a thing as our cell in the lab? Cell culturing is possible, but creating life out of non-living is beyond our imagination for us. But we see ourselves, we are the life. This is proof that there was life in primitive Earth. We are complex because of the process of evolution and natural selection. It is not a matter of being complicated or straightforward. Life is life regardless. If we are here, our ancestors should be somewhere, or were somewhere in the universe. We are surrounded by hundreds of different devices and equipment. From a pen to a toaster, we cannot live happily without any devices we are surrounded with. When we observe them carefully, we understand that everything has been created for some reason. All of them have a purpose of fulfilling. Like a pen is designed to write, and a toaster is to toast the bread. Nothing in the universe is entirely useless or a complete waste. The thing which is unnecessary for one could be essential for others. It's not only about the point of view of one another either. It's the fact that the purpose of one device cannot fulfill that of another unless the creator has created such a multi-purpose device, which is possible. My point is, when we realize the primary purpose of things around us, living our life will be a lot easier. In this high-tech world, we know the meaning of almost everything around us, though we use or misuse them. If I ask anyone about the purpose of a telephone, none will miss the correct answer. Even a kid of 6 years old can answer it. There is no doubt that we are so much educated about the external world. We created so many things to make our life easier. We could not walk all day, so we devised vehicles. We want appeasing weather throughout the year, which is impossible worldwide, so we created fans and air conditioning. We hate darkness, so we made a light bulb. We like to be connected with our people though we are far away from them, so we created social media. So many things we have made today, amazingly, we know their fundamental purposes. But, how about you and your life? Do you know your purpose? Do not forget to watch my another video, The Purpose. Please, comment your thoughts below, and thank you for watching.